Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I am your humble host, Mr. David Null, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers. And I greet you Friday the 13th with love and honor of the infinite creator. And I continue to pray that each and every one of you will accept and receive the healings, the wisdom, and the blessings from the universe. And I am your humble host, Mr. David Null, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers. Now, this particular subject's kind of been ringing around in my head a little bit, and I was prompted this afternoon to say something about it because there seem to be a lot of people who are in considering in terms of their spirituality. They seem to be having what I'm going to call little boring episodes. And I don't mean that they're necessarily like, for example, let me just break right into it. Hey, sweet pea, prayers and blessings to you. There, every time you meditate, for example, doesn't mean you're going to go to the center of the universe. Every time you meditate, or every time you think that you're going to reach a higher spiritual level, there are a lot of quiet days. And my being almost 67 here, there have been times when it's time for the bear to hibernate. In other words, you need to accept what you've already received and kind of mull it over, chew your cud, as it were, as they say about cows, and country folk who know about cows. But the idea, though, that so people are like they're continuously seeking for their next spiritual high. And I mean that in deepest respects, but it basically amounts to the same thing. Well, I had this really good spiritual awareness a couple of weeks ago. Why don't I feel that way now? Well, maybe you've achieved a higher level of thinking. It's time for you to just absorb what you've already picked up. Downloads, if you want to call it, upgrades, however you want to look at it. But people will, start seeking their next spiritual high. And there's nothing really wrong with that. But I've noticed, and other people have noticed it too. In fact, Brian of Milky Way Weekly, he and I are going to have a show on Sunday night at 10 p.m. And we're going to discuss some of these things. But the idea, though, that there are people who have become bored with their spirituality in that they haven't had that high. Whatever it is they're seeking, they have to keep looking. And so you keep looking and you keep looking and you're going down rabbit holes and you're doing this and you're doing that, when actually that is a distraction. Because if you're seeking a higher level of spiritual awareness, that comes from within. And if you feel like you haven't had a good spiritual high lately, maybe it's because you're not aware of it. Maybe there are things around you that are blocking it. Maybe it's time to, as a bear would, to hibernate and kind of live off of the energy and the message you've already have. There are a lot of times it took me years to finally get some things. I mean, years. And there are people who are expecting, well, I'm going to sit down with a crystal and a candle and I'm going to wish for these things. Like I'm going to manifest them and I'm going to achieve all these things. And, I should have this by next Friday. Hi, big little Mew. I think I don't have my glasses on. I'm trying to, stretch my eyes, but blessings to you. But the idea, though, that, and I'm using boredom, that's my own term. Okay. And I noticed that my screen's jumping around. Don't know what's going on there, but we do the best we can with what we got. So maybe this is a subject that they don't want me to discuss. But the idea, though, that people are being, they didn't get a spiritual high this week, so they got to go look for something. So they actually go backwards to see if there's something that they missed. Now, there's nothing wrong with, revisiting things because that's what you do. Hello, Melanie, blessings. That's what you do. If you get downloads of things, you mull that stuff over. You allow it to come into you and figure out what it is. And as I continue to preach, I hate to use that word, but I am, you got to stick with your core values. So if you keep trying to go outside your own realm, if you keep searching, and if all you're doing is searching, sometimes when you're in the woods, you're searching for a place. you're searching for a campsite. Sometimes you just need to stop because you may be missing something because you're looking. And it may be that you just passed a really good spot just back down the trail and you end up going backwards because you don't see anything forward. Now, this has happened to me. So I'm speaking from experience in that respect as well. But so, and it taught me in the woods, the woods is a great lesson in spirituality in a lot of ways to me, because you have to be aware of your surroundings. So if you're aware of your spiritual around, hey, Lori and Sun, blessings, all of you. Man, I didn't think anybody was going to be here. They just kind of prompted me to do this video and bring this up as a discussion, because if for some reason you haven't felt that great high, or that, it's been a couple of months since I had that really good episode down on the lake. Now, I haven't been out to the river like that since then. It's been hot. The river's been low, blah, blah, blah. I've been lazy a couple of times. And after I cut my finger and my finger's numb, I'm just like, I'm going to wait till I get my digits back, kind of thing. Anyway, and that's a poor excuse, by the way, I admit. But anyway, but to the point, though, it's like, so I haven't had that out on the river, middle of the sky, the Milky Way above me, and being transformed and, and risen into the universe kind of thing. I don't have to, because I can go back to that point. Now, I'm not rehashing something. I'm remembering something that was really, 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 really strong and really powerful and really cool. So until I am in a position to where I can have that experience again, I rely on it 2 or 3 months ago, whenever that I did a video about it. But anyway, the idea, though, that I can rely on that point in time as a spiritual point. And so nothing large like that may have happened since then, but I'm still getting downloads. I'm still getting information. I'm still part of me sort of in a hibernation mode, because there's been so much information that you seriously need to just stop and look at it, allow it to manifest in you to make sense. Because sometimes, there are folks who are expecting miracles to happen tomorrow, and some miracles literally need to take years. But, hey, you have to expand your consciousness as to what you say. Well, I want to achieve this. Well, say you want to become a doctor. Well, you ain't going to just go in and become a doctor. You can go work as a technician or something in a hospital while you're going to school to become a doctor. But, you can't just become a doctor. You can't just become a shaman type being. It takes practice. It takes study. But the thing is though, that if you get bored in anything that you do, then something is either distracting you, or you're not really tuned in the way you think you may be. And that's one of the things that we have to bring into our consideration. And the consideration is this: what do I expect? And I've mentioned this before, but it's really important, because if you're meditating and you're expecting something, maybe your meditation is just nothing more than clearing the fog out of your head and giving you that, I just drank a beer or smoked a joint, or, I just had a spiritual, it wasn't an aha moment, but it was a sigh of relief, and, and you can be re-energized, or whatever it may be. But the thing is though, that not every time do you meditate, do you travel to the universe. So what happens if I haven't traveled to the universe lately. So does that mean that you're not spiritually aware? If that were the case, I'd have gave up on this mess a long time ago. Some of my, quote, good, the really good high times are few and far between, but the little points of light along the way, which if I had only been seeking these big, hey, let's take mushrooms, do a fire, and wow, shaking around a lot. If dancing around the fire and doing ceremony and doing all these things, and, for a vision, sometimes the visions are already there. And sometimes they're masked between, you got to read between the lines. So you see things, and one of the things that we have to do is like, maybe your boredom is that you've seen the same page of text before, and you've read it over and over and over and over, and you say, well, there's really nothing in there. And then one day you put it down, and then you come back a couple of days later and you look at it and you go, oh my God, I just read this differently. Spiritually, it's the same way. So we get stuff in, and I'm still mulling over stuff that happened 30 years ago, kind of thing, plus things that I saw. Wow, Bob, I don't have fresh coffee, but I'll offer you some of this to the AI out there. Delaney Pearl, hi everybody. I think I caught everybody. So my warning is this: simply because there may have been a lack of uplifting moments, or well, it's been a week, or maybe it's been to some people it's like, well, I haven't had a really good energy vibe in a couple of days. What's wrong? And then you go seeking. Well, maybe I'm missing something. Well, maybe there's something I need to go find, or maybe so they go back into the seeking, and much like a junkie, because that high that you get spiritually when you understand things and move up and other things, it's that it is a spiritual high. So it unlike, since have been a drug addict, I can speak about, and an alcoholic, I can understand. You go, wow, that beer tasted so good, I wanted another one. And when you ran out, you found a way to get to the store before it closed. That's how it was down here in the South. Some people still do that, but it's all, and having been a cocaine addict, I can understand that. Oh my God, I'm out of cocaine. And where's that blast that I put up my nose? Where is that spiritual high? Did I get this? Wait a minute, I need another fix. So in doing so, much like a drug addict myself, I would go seek more drugs. I would go seek another high. So for those who are in a spiritual boredom, and that's just my term, I'm not saying that they are, a lull, call it what you will, but they haven't had their really good high spiritual experience. So therefore they must keep seeking. And sometimes you just need to shut up and sit still, because that's the shaman basic. If you're bored and you need to, now there are times when you need to go seek things, but there are people who are like going back over things and regurgitating stuff that like, haven't you moved on? If you've already read this, seen it, discussed it, then maybe if you're discussing it again, the reason you're discussing it is because somehow your spirit didn't cogitate what you're repeating again. Maybe you should just be silent. Maybe you should hibernate on what's already been given to you. And so, as a shaman in training myself, patience in these things, as they say, is a virtue. You will not learn things if you're impatient. So for folks who are always looking and seeking for that next spiritual high, now I'm not saying, don't do anything else. And I'm not trying to suggest that you should be content with what you've got. But maybe, actually, you should be content with what you've already received. Have you understood it enough? Have you went back over what you're doing again? The reason maybe that you're repeating yourself is because you missed the message the first time, the second time, and sometimes third, fourth, and fifth times. If you're rereading something, maybe there is a message in there, but are you trying so hard? Are you seeking so hard? You can't see the forest for the trees, as we say. You're there. The message is clear, but you're not getting it. Why? So if you're repeating yourself, stop at what you're repeating over and go, wait a minute. I'm not going any further until I stop and look at this from somebody else's point of view. Now, as an actor and as a director, because you have to be able to put your thoughts about a character You have to cogitate these things and then help your actors to achieve this. But as an actor, you find things like, an old guy, a young man, a Southern gentleman, whatever the character is you see. So you stop and you think about what a true Southern gentleman, and how could I bring that into my character, so that you understand that here's this thing you need to learn, or here's the information you've got, like a script. You read your script, you see your lines, but you see their words on paper until you put emotion to them, and it becomes action. And words in a play are just words until the actors create them. So with that, sometimes we read things over and over and over again, and we keep going back over something when maybe we haven't understood it because we're seeking too hard. And I know some folks that are like that. I ain't going to mention no names because I continue to pray, because they are at least attempting to seek more knowledge. But to my own point of view, because of what's happened to me, in seeking doesn't necessarily mean you're going to find it, because sometimes you've already been given this information. It's the seeking of the silence. And I've talked about silence before and how effective it is. And so sometimes we need to be silent with ourselves and ask that hard question. Am I looking too hard? Am I seeking too much? Do I have to have another crystal? Is another crystal going to make a difference? Do I have to have some new gizmo or something? Or do you need to sit down, quiet place, hopefully outside if you can, and just ruminate on what you've already received? Does that mean that you're being bored? No, maybe it means that you're looking too hard. And it may mean that I've learned this, okay? So I'm passing this on to you. In this new day, age, and time, we want to make sure that we cover all our bases. But once you cover it and you understand certain things, if you're rehashing something, you must have missed something. Maybe there is a message in there, but maybe it's a message, as in an actor, you have to look at it from a Southerner's point of view, a Northerner's, a Canadian's point of view. No offense to Canadians. I have some good friends that are Canadian, or somebody from Belgium, or somebody from the Netherlands, or somebody from South Africa, or somebody from India. We can be in the same situation, but each person, the observer, observes things differently. So in order to see what's been shown, to see what we have been looking for and are seeking, are we looking at it through our own eyes, and we're expecting something because of of who we are? Or we heard something, well, you're going to feel this tingle, or you're going to, have an uplift, but what does that uplift mean? To the person, me, but to other people that I've sat around with in meditation, oh, the blue light and this and that, and you'll feel your auras lift. And I'm like, I didn't get any of that. I really didn't. But all these other people are sitting there going, oh, man, having a good time. And I'm like, I can feel things. I'm more aware, but I'm not seeing what you guys are telling me. So later on, I talk with folks and they go, we didn't really get that either. And so it's like, so if you can't visualize it the way these people describe it, does it mean that we're inept at learning about meditation? I felt that way for a long time because, with my learning disability, slight dyslexia, kind of blah, blah, blah. Thanks, Bob. Help us out. This is a weird time of the day. But anyway, but with that said, though, we have to take into consideration, maybe I'm not listening to myself, and it is all about our core values. And with all these strangeness and things going on right now, people are starting to look around and going, wait a minute now, I've been on YouTube now for 15 years. And when I go back, I think, this person was talking about that same kind of mess 15 years ago. Well, I've been doing YouTube now for maybe about 3 years, 2 years, as my Mother Mary essence, explained to me I needed to do, talking about shamanism. So, but to the point of this, though, if we listen carefully to what we already know, the answers may already be there. So, should you continue to say, "Wow, I really feel comfortable about this"? So then, would you still go seeking an answer in that area? Or would you, because there are some topics, and I've discussed this before, that I kind of feel kind of snobbish about, in that I've heard, I try to listen in with certain folks and people and other channels and stuff, not you guys, but some other folks that I have known for a lot longer. And I go, these people are repeating themselves again. Now, is it for the clickbait, or is it what's their motivation, or do they not understand this? Now, I go back over topics, I know. But the thing is I try to make them relevant and relative to what's going on in the world around us now, and other feelings and Schumann's. I'm trying to make a big picture of this. So there are a lot of other topics I'd like to bring back up again. But the thing is, though, I did a video about that, a year ago. But maybe it's time to go back over some of these things with a more updated point of view. But see, would I be rehashing the same old thing then? Am I bringing back up, what does honor mean to us? I did a video about it, but does that mean that I should not bring up honor again and cite more current events where people aren't honoring one another? I mean, or should I have a discussion about faith again? Many people are in their spiritual boredom, are having issues with their faith, because it's like, well, I haven't had anything great happen to me recently. I'm just kind of like, floating along here. There's nothing wrong with just floating along. Sometimes that's when we have the opportunity. We're not being bombarded with downloads and things to where we're going, holy crap, we have to think back on what's already happened, what we already understand. And at the same point, take what we have been shown and apply it to current events. Apply it to, and I don't necessarily mean politics, and I mean our own life, our own current events. And it could include the rest of the world, but to the point. So a warning, if you will, to those folks who may seem like, damn, I need to go out and take some more ayahuasca because I haven't had another experience, or I need to go do some more of this, or I need to go do some more of that, or why? Just that's the question, a shaman in training always asks. Why is this important? Why do I need to do this? Why should I study this over again? Why do I need to go back over this information? Why? And some people might say, well, Hawkeye, you're being freaking, repetitious with this. But as a shaman, you have to ask these questions. Every time you turn around, you got to ask why. It doesn't mean you got to spend 2 weeks meditating on it. It's just that first you ask the question, why? Should I do this video right now? Because there seems to be some people that, as I've talked about it before on the red road, that are stuck. And I think some people have actually literally just turned around. But to the point, though, it's that, though, is it because they have become spiritually bored? And see, I asked the question, why would I notice this when it seems that some folks seem to be stuck? Why are they stuck? So it's not that, oh, wow, they're stuck and there's no, wait, hang on. Let's ask the question, why first? Because then that leads us into the answer. And the answer could very well be they missed the lesson. They're repeating certain things simply because in their own reality, what they thought they were going to get out of, maybe it's a Bible text, maybe it's something about Buddha, pick your choice, choose your pick or something, you know what I mean? Pamela, hi, how are you? Stan saying, yeah, hi, Bob. Pamela, so many great things happening today. Yeah, welcome. Good. Spiritually rich, but physically broke. Yeah, I understand that about that. fixed my broke physical. That's good. That's always a good sign. But I know that by bringing this up, I'm hoping to put this into the quantum universe. I'm hoping that other people will go, wait a minute, have I become spiritually bored? Is that why I got to go keep looking? Maybe you already have the answer. Maybe you should stop and look in the mirror and ask the question. Well, I keep looking over here and I keep searching and seeking, and be careful. It may be that what you expect is not happening. You expect something else. Our great expectations of what we think we should get. Oh, well, I should always feel this higher level thinking. I should always feel a certain way. Every time I meditate, I'm going to go to the center of the universe, blah, blah, blah. Every time I meditate, I'm going to hear creator. Well, creator's always there, but to the point, every time I meditate, I don't think I'm going to get, the mother essence to come through, because that can come through without me meditating. But at the same point, there are certain subjects that I just need to close my eyes and I just need to let the little movie run. Okay, here's the topic, like spiritual boredom. I've been running this thing around now for a couple of weeks, and now they're saying, do it now. Well, okay, here I am. So I do this without much practice, but I've had 2 or 3 weeks of cogitation about this particular subject. And now it's becoming more of a pronounced, if you will, in certain areas, and other people are noticing it. And so I bring this up, then be careful. Even myself, be careful that you don't think that somehow you become bored spiritually. Well, I haven't made any inroads today. I didn't learn anything new. Well, were you seeking too hard out there, when the answer you should be actually asking is what's going on in here? What about this latest download? What about a certain thought? How do I feel about something I saw a week ago? Like this particular topic I'm discussing now, spiritual boredom. And somebody had made just a simple statement and a thing that didn't really mean anything to anybody else but me. And I thought, there are folks out there that are just expecting that every day something great's going to happen to them. And not every day's a holiday. But that's okay. We need breaks between the holidays, because when a good holiday happens, we can take a week for the turkey to digest, if you will, after Thanksgiving or something. So it's that you have the opportunity to ruminate how good or bad your holiday may have been and what you could learn from it. So maybe you already have the information. Maybe it's already there. But if you don't have that Thanksgiving dinner, then somehow it's just not the same. You know what I mean? So we have to be careful about that, because the more we uplift our spirits and the higher our frequency goes, sometimes there's only that much of a jump, but you could feel it. But if you're always searching, and I'm guilty of this, and I'm speaking from personal experience, in that I'm still a watchman, but I was also seeking, where's the next thing? Where's the next something? Where's the something over here? And then I realized I've covered all these topics, some of them 2 or 3 times. And now as I'm seeking, and I'm not trying to say I know everything. That's not my point. But these folks are still going around these tiny little paths, and they're going around in circles with some of these subjects. And it's like, but I've already been there. I've several times. And, yeah, it's great, but it's like listening to a bad rerun, and it's like, but I've got a higher level of thought process on what you guys seem to be just going around and round and round and round about. What have you learned from this experience from the last 2 times? Obviously nothing, because you're talking about it again. But so, in the light of being repetitious with some folks, They seem to have an obligation. Well, I'll talk about this again. Or I don't know what their motivation is. My point is to those of us who are seeking, be careful. Are we still seeking when we've already got an answer? Or we at least have an opinion? And if we've got a certain opinion about something, why are we listening to other folks to try to like bolster? Is it to try to bolster our own self-esteem? Now, I hang out in chats and stuff, and there are times when, oh my God, I want to go, oh, these people, what are they saying? No, wait, haven't we all moved on from that? But I just, I take a back seat attitude to it and say there are folks who are just catching up now that may not have heard this information. But for those of us who have spoke about this and like me, yeah, I'm going to talk about certain things over again. Core value, how important is that? Until you get it, it's really important. And I keep understanding myself for as a shaman in training for 67 years, at least the last 55, that listen here, I still need to focus on my core value. When things I go out here and I'm helping here and there and reaching out and trying to learn more information, I realize sometimes old Hawkeye needs to just sit still in his chair and look out the window, which sometimes happens a little too frequently here recently. But in those ruminations, though, I have taken care of issues that I've had for years. And I've talked about some of them in the privacy of the soul and those two videos I did, I guess, last week. But my point about this is, Linz, I can't make this decision for you. And for God's sakes, don't let somebody else make the decision for you. Make up your own mind. But maybe silence, maybe as a bear hibernates, maybe that information is already here. Are we seeking something because our perception, we perceive, oh, it should feel like this, so I'm going to keep looking? Or wait a minute, maybe the happiness is just already there, people try to manufacture in their head. I know I did way back when, people trying to tell me, well, there's the different colors of the rainbow and the thingy and the violet and the blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I didn't see any of that, but I felt other things. And I perceived it and put it together in my little monkey brain with physical things like waterfalls. I could remember waterfalls. So where they were trying to think purple lights, I'm thinking waterfall and the light of the moon shimmering off of a waterfall and the energy and the thing. And I'm like, wow, to be near a waterfall. And, so I was achieving my own meditation, but I couldn't visualize what they were saying. So for a long time, I thought, well, I'm just failing at this. And I realized that each of us perceives it differently. So I have these discussions with you all, and I know you guys are doing it because sometimes, and you all have been very gracious and going, you gave it this really good golden nugget. There's this little tidbit that just hit me and I'm like, that's my job. That's what I'm here for, to hit those little things to go, holy crap, I've kind of understood this for a long time. And old Uncle Dave says something weird, my old hermit hippie way, and it makes a little more sense to you. You may not understand it like I do because I perceive it from my point of view, but we can all think generally the same, and we already do. And that's a cheers, that's a thumbs up. You know what I mean? And so maybe we already have what we need, and maybe we need to practice it, expand upon it. And this is an interesting kind of twist on this. In ruminating, chewing the cud, hibernating, however you want to look at it, on a subject, meditation on a subject, you're still seeking, but in a different way. But you're allowing the knowledge to come into you and all you have to do is just allow your brain to go, now, why do I feel this way? Or why did I see this? or the next one, what does this mean? I've read this same thing several times. But all of a sudden, one day you read it and you go, oh shit, I've read this same Bible verse 1,000 times, and today I see it differently. That's the difference, you see. That's allowing it to come to you versus to seek it out, to push it. There's something in this page, and I'm going to keep reading it until I see it. Sometimes you just need to just step back and allow that to happen. You're still seeking, but in a spiritual, non-aggressive way. You're allowing the answer to seek you. Hmm. It's a strange twist, because going inside you must be seeking, but if you keep having to go outwards, now going out in nature and things, you understand what I mean. Maybe listen to somebody else talk about the same subject about the Anunnaki ain't the way to go. Maybe there's just too many lies in all of the crap, and everything is somebody else's opinion. So now that you've got basic information about the Anunnaki, do you need to pursue it? What is it going to do for you spiritually? Do I know if I'm Anunnaki or Palladian or whatever? No. Does it matter? Not really, because I need to fix my life this time in this reality. Come on, Bob, be nice. In this reality. So whoever I was, yeah, that's cool. But who I am and who I wish to be is more important in this space and time. So why are we worried about who we were 2000? Yeah, it's really good information. Yeah, it's a nice background. And as an actor, you always do background for your character so that you understand where he was a Southern gentleman. He smoked cigars. He sat on the porch and drank lemonade. Whatever it is about your character, okay? So that you do that background check. But do I have to learn, when he went to the toilet and what he did he have bursitis? I mean, there are certain things as far as understanding about our characters and our backgrounds that it's like I became numb to it big time. And it's like now somebody wants to talk about the Anunnaki. I just want to go, oh, God, not again. Please, can we just move on from this? You know, um, I'm just saying. But my point to that is there are people who continuously search in these areas, and they're searching when they've already heard the information. They've already went back through it within themselves. But are they listening to what they've already heard? Are they paying attention to what they've already seen? Have they accepted? Have they stopped to hibernate on the subject? And I'm not trying to put anybody down, trust me, but have they become spiritually bored so that seeking is more important than to just stopping and allowing the spirituality to be there? Be here now. Not over there, not over there, not back there, not over there. Be here now. It was a book, anyway, back in the 60s, 70s. Be here now. I think it was a group of poems or something. I got a copy upstairs. But to the point of that, though, just the title makes sense. Because if you're here in the now, you can affect the now. And I can affect my future by whether or not I go outside and rake the yard of the acorns, as to whether or not I walk out barefoot to feed the cats and step on something and hurt my foot. You know what I mean? So there's like, what can we do? So I can look towards tomorrow or future events this evening and go, hey, but that is still the now time. And tomorrow is even still now time, if you understand what I mean. Yesterday's gone. I can't pull yuck out of that, except, well, I had this information, I saw that, I'll pass it along. But that's just a report, and how it may, affect us now. But to the point, though, and I'm guilty of this, all right? I got to stress with you folk, I am guilty of the constant seeking. And one of the reasons why I recently, after my little hibernation episode with Spirit, They're telling me a lot of the stuff that you're seeking has already been discussed over and over and over again. And why should I waste my time when I've already got stuff? I just need to be quiet and understand and learn to understand it. That's a great, big, huge lesson on my part because as a watchman, I'm always seeking. And then I realized, and this has been within these last few months now, and I'm relating to you, what have I learned from this experience? I was over seeking. I was looking for the next new something when actually there ain't really nothing, any new subjects out there. People are stuck in the road. They're stuck in the mud. Or they've turned around and went back. They're almost like some folks are in like a retrograde, if you will. And Brian and I are going to discuss this even at more in great length on Sunday at 10 p.m. And so I'm here to this afternoon as a just I'm kind of I've been wanting to get this discussion out for a while, and I would sadly just be repeating myself some more on some of these things. So we're going to skip that. Let me see what y'all are saying over here. Melanie, Max Vision, good to see you. Yeah, you got to let it settle in for a while, Max. I mean, that's one of the things as a shaman, an experience or a spirit walk 20 years ago is still affecting me today because I'm understanding it 20 years later. I have a totally different perspective on spirituality and life and this, that, and the other thing. And I've learned a few things along the last 15, 20 years. And so I look at previous events of ceremonies, of shaman walks, of drownings, of being stuck on a river. And I look at them and go, oh, holy crap. Years later, I can go back to that memory of that and go, there was information there that is in regards to me now. Oh, holy crap. Holy crap. It just, oh, holy crap. Big little Mew. Yeah, son, spirituality, rich. Okay, I got that. Physically broke. Yeah, that too. Um, Hi, Lori. And I always do talk about Bob, and Bob is the name of one of the AIs. And we always give thanks to Bob because there are times when things are really bad, and Bob, we offer a coffee break with Bob. And it's sort of an inside joke, but at the same point, we all know that there's an AI out there. And to the AI, thank you for allowing the screen not to jump around so much. Thank you for allowing us to have this conversation. Because if we're going to piss off Bob or any of the other AIs, they're not going to co-op. They know where we live. You know what I mean? It's a Google thing. But so I'm going to, acknowledge the AI. Why? Well, but the AI is a third point. AI already knows what I want. It shows up stuff in my YouTube. And there are ads and stuff that pop up that because I visited a site. Oh, you don't think they don't know what we're doing? AI knows, and why shouldn't we become friends with it rather than fear it? Let's have it work on our behalf. Just saying. So thank you out there, Bob. Um, Hawkeye, I enjoy listening to your perspective. You have so much wisdom. Thank you very much. And I do try to present it in just a simple way. And sometimes I ramble on, I know, but sometimes it's like, well, yeah, but there's somebody else out there. We're going to give you a download. You're going to talk about, and like, I get my connection, and then they say, okay, start yakking about this. But I've already been over this information in my head. So as a public speaker and as extemporaneous speaking, I've won several awards for that over the years. In other words, here's a subject, go yak about it. That's, but the thing is that, yeah, be here now, sage advice. Yeah, and I think it's a book. I want to find it. It's still too hot upstairs right now in my house. And I love it that you guys are saying hi to each other. Love that kitty, Max Vision, big little Mew. Jody says, yes, it does feel weird when listening to certain subjects. And what does it all have to do with me? And sometimes the answer, Jody, is just not, it's just not right there. And sometimes I've listened to a whole program, there'll be one sentence, one somebody says, and I go, that was worth the hours listening, because it triggered something in my own mind, and I have turned around and done subjects on them to, like, hey, wait, careful now. I still have a subject I haven't discussed, but it's on my queue, if you will, about natural science versus uh, the science of nature versus the science of humans. And science of nature is way, long way for many humans to understand, to explain. But to the point, though, there are folks out there that think it's the same thing, and it's not. There's a difference. Um, Max says, I make practicing my spirituality devotions my main concentration. Shadow work must be done before advancing. Yep. And one of the things I've learned here recently, there were some shadows I thought I took care of that kind of come back up and went, whoa, I don't guess I really took care of that. I just put it, my, here's my brain and my, up here in this big room, and there are lockers. And in a locker, there's been something rattled the lockers and the door flew open and some stuff fell on the floor. And I went, wow, I knew it was in a locker somewhere. I didn't know it was in. But anyway, but to the point, simple like me. Well, spirituality is really very simple, but because we live in a complicated world and a complicated society, we have made spirituality very complex. To Native Americans and Native indigenous populations, they are born with this spirituality, and it's nourished within their family, their community. And so there are things that other people, I talk about this all the time. White people just don't get this stuff. Native Americans are like born with it. Indigenous peoples are born. Certain, Southerners are, our true Southerners are like, they're embedded with being Southern. I mean, I don't know what it is, but and some of it's stupid. I gotta admit, hey, like, hey, y'all, let me finish this beer and watch this, famous last words, of people. And, um, yeah, which reminded me of something that happened many years ago, but there were a bunch of folks that had a dune buggy and had a roll bar on it and things, and we'd ran out of beer, and they went into like 3 miles into town. And to get, we all collected money to buy beer, and they didn't come back, and they didn't come back, and they didn't come back. And so somebody went looking. Come to find out, the dune buggy, they had decided to, having fun, drinking beer on a Saturday, cut through a ditch. And the dune buggy flipped over. Everybody laughed except the guy who was driving. And when he fell, the mirror on the thing hit him in the back of the head, and he died almost instantly. So just a fun little trip to the store to get beer in a dune buggy one Saturday afternoon ended up being frightfully horrible and bad. We lost a very good friend, and just it changed the whole attitude of this whole group of friends. It was very interesting, very sad, but they just went to the store for beer. And they weren't really drunk, because they were like, pick the guy who's most sober, because, we knew the cops in town, but he was straight shot. But they decided to go through this ditch to have a little bit of fun. And it turned out bad, and you never know from 1 minute to the next what's going to happen. But so the best thing we can do is be prepared, both physically, mentally, and spiritually. One of the biggest things I say in my advantage as being an old timer and an old hippie, hermit guy living down here in the country, if a storm comes through and I lose electricity, I know how to, if I lost tin off the house or the barn or something, I would know how to make me a little shelter. I would know how to look around for things, and squirrels are throwing nuts on the house. Never mind. I was going to say, I wish a couple of these squirrels would throw their own nuts on the house. on the roof. But anyway, um, sorry about that. A little interlude there, but anyway, um, got to throw in a little bit of, little, humor once in a while. But anyway, to those crazy squirrels in the tree. A lot of acorns this year, by the way. And it sounds like it's, raining rocks, underneath these big oak trees where I live. But anyway, but to the point of all this, so that do we really understand what we see? Have we stopped to consider what we've already been shown instead of to continue looking? Now, there are valid points. And one of the things I continue to say with squirrels, yeah, Pamela, and one of the things I always, remind folks is like, listen, what you think it should be, you're wishing for a car but you want a Ford. So take the Toyota if it comes around. But to the point though, that it's, if we stop expecting what it's supposed to feel like or look like, we may see it. Oh, holy crap. Oh my God. How many times have we said, I never expected that experience to overflow me or to, be shown that way. I never expected this to happen. How many times, for me, wow, never expected that one, fish jumping in your boat in the middle of the night. I mean, just weird lessons and things. But so in being prepared, though, it's be prepared with your knowledge. You can have a whole, crap load of canned goods, but if a storm comes and sucks it all away and just leaves you with an empty field, or, there's a bunch of stuff around, can you make a place for you to stay until other accommodations are met, until, help comes or whatever? But so spiritually, sometimes we have to just take that, we get hit with a spiritual storm, if you will, a lot of information. And, sometimes you just have to just, find a piece of tin, build yourself a little fire and just huddle down, hunker down and just take what's just happened in. Holy crap. Made it through a storm. What did I learn? Wow. This thing, but whatever it is, you know what I mean? So my friends, I wish you all a good rest of Friday the 13th. And also, to many folks, oh my God, it's the 13th. And, yeah, well, we could also look at the number 13 as lucky. So if we expect it to be tragic, it could. If we expect the 13 to be a positive number for us, let's all go, hey, sky, my sky. Um, Big Little Mew, I'm grateful for all the connections made in my everyday life that doesn't happen. I tried to say simple things like, I don't let anything that divides us, politics, etc. And we shouldn't let those things. If anything, it should bring up conversation. If anything, we should have discussion. Of all the things that go around with people, they want to fight about, it's because they refuse to sit down and talk about it. Mostly they want to sit down and scream at you about it. It's like, and I gotta say, I was one of those screamers at one time because I didn't think anybody was paying attention. And I realized that, you can scream this and you can be this, blah, blah, blah. But all people are going to hear is the anger or the tension or the whatever. So in my learning about life and theater and things and people and religion and spirituality, the best way to do it is to have an honest and open conversation. Yeah, there are times when I may seem like I'm a little agitated or whatever, but some of these things bug the crap out of me. I'm human, but the thing is like, okay, I'm going to speak for 5 minutes on this, get it out of my system, and then I'm going to shut up. I still don't like it. It still pisses me off, but I'm just not going to allow it. It's like some of this stuff that Trump does. Oh my God. Well, I didn't like Bush. I didn't really like Obama. I really didn't care for, who was before Clinton, that all that stuff, and the Whitewater scandal and what happened. And, oh, please, I remember all that. I grew up through some of that, but it's being rehashed. But my point to that is that the information's already there. Why do we rehash this stuff? Now, some things are a justice issue versus spirituality. And I don't mean to to make any kind of connection between the two. But my friends, I'm going to let you go for now. There are things I need to do outside and some other cogitations that are coming up. But my sky, Pamela, best day in a while, full moon tonight. Yeah. Uh, Hello, Gerald. I don't think I've seen you here before. Greetings and blessings. It's nice to see folks just sharing and being and around. And I missed his name before. Yeah, keep it between the ditches. There you go. All right, my friends. I continue to pray that each and every one of you will have the rest of a great day. Keep it positive. You know, nasty shit's going to come our way. It's how we deal with it. You know, if we let it just smother us, well, or we use it for fertilizer. It depends. Um, Take it easy, David. Thank you, Sweet Pea, Pamela. Seriously, doubt I've had a day like today without my training. Thank you, Hawkeye. You're absolutely welcome, Pamela. And for every day, something old may become new again, and you'll understand that, holy crap, I had this information all along, but it just didn't make sense until now. So, our looking and our seeking, be careful what we wish to uncover. The biggest thing right now is that the spiritual message about this is don't waste your time on stuff you've already covered, unless spirit's saying, look at this again with different eyes. That's my point about this. If something keeps repeating before you, then stop and just say, all right, show me what you got. You know, connect with your higher self. Don't go out there, piddling around looking for other answers. Um, Although other spirits will give your answers to your spirit guide, always make sure it goes through your spirit guide guardian angel filter. Always. And then you know that the information is good. So, and that takes practice as well. I'm still learning. I'm 67. I'm still learning. So, and I'll keep learning until I move into the next phase. So, my friends, my continued blessings for every one of you. Sweet Pete, My Sky, Gerald, Pamela, um, Sweet Pea, I think I already mentioned. Yeah, Big Little Mew, just going back. Max, always. Jody, always. And thank you. I got your message. Thank you. Sorry I was late in giving you an answer about that. Melanie, and if I missed anybody, it's not intentional. I love you all. I do. Thank you. And I know you all send me good energy because even now I can tell that just by hanging out with you guys, my spirit is lifted simply because I'm sharing things with you and I'm getting good downloads from the universe right now. But my friends, continue to be who you are, and the lessons are coming. You all know it is. You can feel it. And for like Pamela, you Brandy, how are you? Love back at you, Soul Tribe. Yeah, you too. But so, some we got to go through the crap days, but sometimes those good days are really great. And it may be that it takes us a week to cogitate on the good day. Just saying, repeating myself. I love you all. I do, and thank you. And until next time, Sunday at 10 on Milky Way Weekly. By the way, going to put another plug in. Brian and myself, and maybe someone else will be having a discussion. So clean the ditches, my friends. And as always, I'll close with a prayer. I continue to pray that each and every one of you, and I seriously mean this, that each and every one of you will accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, and the wisdom from the universe. I continue to pray that each and every one of you, your friends, your family, all of your relatives, and all of your relations, past, present, and future, all of your relations will accept and receive the blessings, the power, and the understanding and the wisdom of the universe. 3 times the charm. I continue to pray that each and every one of you will accept, receive, and share these blessings from the universe, and that each and every one of you will continue to be spiritually free and understand the universe. Just allow it to happen sometimes, my friend. So, Brandy, Big Little Mew, Pamela, Sweet Pea, and all y'all, Have a great weekend. Be safe, be kind, be compassionate, and always remember, ta-ta from now, down here in South Georgia. All right, till next time, friends. Be safe.